What's going on, guys? Welcome to TK's Garage 405. Today, we're going to be working on my Camaro here a little bit. Kind of been tinkering with it and seeing if we can get it fired up and maybe eventually actually get it out while we have some nice weather. It's not too hot because this thing doesn't have air conditioning. What's going on, guys? The mic today. Just gonna give you a quick once over what I was doing here. I figured you saw me finish up my truck there, for now anyways. Work on that another day, but the weather's gonna be beautiful this week, so gonna start doing some random projects. Did some stuff at the house today there, and I'm gonna start working on my Camaro a little bit here. Maybe see if I can get it fired up this week here yet, and then decide what I'm gonna do from there. I really still pretty sure I'm committing to an LS swap in it, mostly because I want to boost it. Probably do like some sort of a big turbo to it. I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. So just trying to tidy up the garage here a little bit, but I had a tarp laying underneath it when we pushed it in here because I knew it was dripping a little bit of transmission fluid, but I think a little might be an understatement here. Kind of show you guys here. Show you guys the transmission leak. This is after this is after I pulled the this is after I pulled out the tarp I had laying underneath it. I should have just had cardboard, I guess, but man, I don't even understand. It must have bled through somehow or another. I'll show you the tarp that was underneath it here. Holy smokes, man. I don't even really want to touch it again, but I flipped it upside down. I just laid it outside here. I didn't realize how much was in it until I started carrying it outside because it's kind of dark in the garage at first until I turned the lights on there. Just covered. There was a lot. You can see it all even over the backside here. So I guess I'm gonna have to get some kitty litter or something. I was trying not to get oil on this floor because we hadn't coated it yet. That was kind of what I was trying to do before we got in here, and we got rushed doing other things as soon as we moved in, and one thing led to another, and we just didn't get it done. So that really sucks. So now I'm gonna push it over this way. I guess I should make sure I have cat litter before I do that, because I'm not sure if I actually do or not. So once I do that, I'll give you guys a once over of this thing again, kind of see where we're at with it, and then we'll go from there. All right, back to working on this pile here. We're gonna try to set the valves, I guess. Put the rocker in the other side there. I will snug it down a little bit on the, put the poly lock on it, and then we will probably rotate it over by engine. You want to grab the battery charger?
Yeah. Do you have the orange one or the stand-up one?
We'll do that doesn't matter. Probably whatever's easier to get at is. I don't know if
I don't even know what the other one is.
I'll just use that one. I put it back in the box, I think.
The stand-up one?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
We use the orange one actually because it'll actually rotate it.
Here, since the battery's probably stone dead. Oh, I see the stand-up one.
11/16 for. Okay.
You just start trickle charging it?
Yeah. Throw it on 40, I guess.
Okay.
Just to make sure. And then what else? The dipstick and the brakes. Oops, sorry guys. Shake you around there.
I was just gonna connect it and then move it as close as possible so it's out of the way.
Oh, I see. Some of these new cables, but I'm scared to cut them.
What?
So this thing actually needs new cables, but I'm scared to cut them and put new ones on it.
It doesn't need new cables, it just needs a more electrical tape,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Well, at least it's just the negative that's like really bad.
Yeah.
That one's not much better.
And the positive. Look at there.
No.
If it works, it works.
That's right.
Don't fix something if it ain't broke.
I just finished having that conversation.
With who?
Myself.
Oh, the
Oh, the
tensioner.
battery's off. Maybe it isn't dead then.
Oh. Let me voltmeter
Wait.
it.
Yeah. Wow. That won't tell how much is actually in it.
This will-
I think I started it when we pulled it in here, so maybe it is fine. I don't know. Lighthouse charge. Can't charge it without that. I don't know if I have a top post laying around here. Just screw that.
A bolt.
Well, I guess we need to start bumping the engine over anyways.
He's got 12.4, so it's pretty much full.
Oh, fine. Well, oh, new vice grips in there. Let's see how. What are these called?
Cobalt.
Yes, cobalt.
Is it actually?
It is.
That was a good guess.
Yeah. Let's see how cobalt fuels work.
Where does cobalt come from? That's Harbor Freight, isn't it?
No, Walmart, and they sell it at Lowe's now. Probably right. What was that noise?
Interference or something.
That's weird. It's probably
Oh, it's
the
a
old
battery charger.
Pioneer. Something plugged in? No. No. Something obnoxious.
We're only about to blow up.
That was weird. Flashlight?
It's grounding some kind of
That's weird.
the radio. You hear that?
That's really weird.
What in the world?
Well, I'll put the charger on it anyways, just to roll it over. Okay, probably grab a spark plug wrench and we'll pull that number one plug out, I guess.
Put your finger over it.
Guess so. Well, actually, we don't need it. We can see. Because the valves
if
are.
If you get the right one.
Oh, well, you don't have to. Because the valves are both going to be closed.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I thought it can be like 180.
Not if the valves are closed.
Okay.
You would only not know if you had the valve covers on it. Because then it could be.
Yeah, you're right. Unless you take the distributor cap off and look at it.
Yes.
Anyways.
But that still doesn't tell you. Because you can still be 180.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to bump it or you want me to
Yeah, I'll bump it and then make sure that these bolts should still be lashed.
turn down as far as they go, right?
Yeah, so they should both
Okay.
be closed. So,
It should go boom, boom,
yeah, yes.
boom, boom, boom. Keep going. More. Farther. Okay, keep going. Keep going. More. Okay, keep going. No? Up. You're almost there. Keep going. Okay, they're both up right now. What? Okay. So it went boom, boom, and now they're both up. So now they need to go down.
So wait, is it open or closed?
Right now they should be closed.
Yeah, but is that full stop open or closed? Closed.
You know, both of them open though. Like when they're both pressed down.
No, closed would be compression.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong side then. Crap. I was looking at the valves, not the rocker. Or the push rod.
Yeah, they should both be all the way down.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we could put that rotation tool on, but it looks like a pain to get at.
Yep. You want me to crank it?
No. Let's see here. Stop making noise now? Oh, that was weird. Yes. Other ways to do it. Victor Holdner, I was watching, he does it differently. He does all one side and all the other. Like, I guess you could, you don't have to go on the fire motor, you could go.
Well, if you do in the fire motor, it's the fastest because you can just go right to the next
Yeah, I
one.
guess that's what it is, right? A lot of guys will put like a bump thing under their hood or whatever.
So they can just press a button.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hot wire off the starter,
Yes.
I believe. Anyways. There was a guy that came in, and he had a square body. He was like, "Yeah, we've been using a flathead screwdriver in it because we lost the key for it." I was like, "Are you sure it's much more?"
Yeah.
But he was like, "I don't even know what year this thing is." He pulled up a picture. I was like, "Oh, that's a '78. I'll get you that ignition cylinder." So I got the ignition cylinder, and he's like, "Oh, I just found a picture of the VIN. Guess what year it was?"
78.
78. I was like, "Dang, son." He's like, "Wow, that was impressive." I was like, "I know."
Okay,
That was too
a little tight there.
Yeah.
I know people that actually know what they're doing have a lot easier time with this.
You mean me?
Well. Seemed awfully loose before though. Oh, there we go. This is 16, so I don't want to let it go any less than that.
That one guy where his dad owns the Salsa drag strip, that comes in every now and then. He's trying to sell me one of the IROCs they own,
Nice.
but it's just a roller.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, what do you want for that?
Supposedly Dale wants to sell his truck.
Oh, that's new.
I know.
When did he say that?
Malachi went there yesterday to clean his house.
We're working him.
He's like, get your dad to come over here and help me post that thing for sale or something like that. I'm like,
I'm not
I'd have
posting
to,
it for
like,
sale. I have to buy it.
I'd have to talk to somebody before I did that, thinking of stuff like that, because I won't be like late for things.
Or we just buy it.
He's 87, eh? He's old. That's crazy. I guess he hurt his
He's
knee or
popular,
something
eh?
like that. Really got
He's 2 years younger, I believe, or 3 years younger. Okay, how much he wants to sell it for?
I don't know. I mean, it's not that amazing.
I know,
But it would be cool.
It would be cool to have.
It would be cool. It'd be cool to actually do something with that. You never see that generation.
I probably wouldn't make it into a drag truck or some kind
No,
of
that's true.
I'd try to kind of leave it as it
Maybe
is.
like a cruiser or something, and put some air conditioning in it, and
Do the next one.
the next one, I guess. Okay, so 16.
It's nice in here.
Hang on.
That fan is loud.
It is.
Do you have a cutoff switch for that?
No. I
Oh.
used to, but he wired it up so that it just goes on with the ignition, which is really annoying.
That is really, so it's just always running?
Yeah.
That is a terrible design.
Yeah, not really the
It's
greatest.
not going to get us operational temperature.
I'm going to move this now.
Actually, it will because of the thermostat. But still, that's terrible design.
All right, I'm gonna time lapse you guys here. It's Dynamax.
Oh, okay.
First start. Give her a fire up after this. I'm a little rattly, hey?
Could have been because of the.
Could have been because it's still just getting well to it.
I forgot. I gotta run it for a bit at a couple thousand RPM because I put those new lifters in it. Make sure that those
Should we just.
fires aren't touching stuff.
They're touching everything.
We might have to just zip them together or something.
Zip tie it from here.
Wow.
Just like hang it off of there. Oh yeah, they're touching tires. It's almost like the timing is off for it to die like that, hey?
That doesn't have a choke.
Oh.
Double bumper.
Oh. Takes a long time for it to warm up then.
It just hasn't running.
I'm sure the old gas doesn't help either.
No, I don't think so.
Is it bad to spray carb cleaners in engines like this?
That's not really gonna do anything.
Mm.
Probably needs the bowls taken off and actually.
Emptied and new gas.
Yeah. Probably the
You
tank.
probably didn't even run premium either.
I don't. Yeah, I suspect he
Oh,
didn't.
you're working today.
That's why I
Not today.
blended it.
I said I had today off.
Oh, I thought he called you in the afternoon or something.
No, I said I didn't take it because I thought Dad needed me.
Oh.
holes or what? Yeah.
Is
Some
it?
bolts in there?
Is it?
Yeah. Well, we don't have holes in those valve covers. Bolts in those valve covers there.
So you have to run it at what RPM?
Like 2,000, 2,500, and you kind of vary it around a little bit. Getting hot already.
And then you're supposed to drain the oil.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna change it anyways because I don't know what's going on with this thing.
What kind of oil do you run in it?
Just Rotella.
Oh. I didn't know if that was too thick for something like this. Like this application.
I'm sure people will tell me it is, but touching the. Grab me one more zip tie. It's the jack.
Oh.
Grab me one more zip tie from up there. Might as well just buy new wires from this thing.
Would you cut them?
No, I'll just buy new ones for this one and then put these on my truck.
I know, but would you get the ones that you have to cut? That's what I was asking.
No.
We might have the
Unless
right
it-
ones for this. I don't know.
What the frick, man? Only one more?
The tire is pretty much on the back onto the rollers.
Yeah, I
so
figured that. I didn't put it in gear for that reason.
So that jack doesn't roll or hold very well anymore. That's new because it used to hold really good.
Did it?
Yeah. It really just needs a rebuild, eh?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know how much that would be to get a rebuild kit for that.
Okay, maybe it'll leak a little less.
You want me to put jacks?
All right, so when we started the car in Iowa, I realized after I had put the distributor back in the second time that I must have been off a tooth. So I'm dropping it back in now, but I need to turn the oil pump. If I can actually see, that's a lot easier with the... Dude, I didn't even touch anything, I'm like barely putting it in there. It's like, look, it's like smoking.
What? What is smoking?
I don't know. It's like the screwdriver.
It's magnetic.
Yeah, I really can't see
You know,
it.
it's magnetic.
Yeah,
It's just
I know.
pulling the metal out of the steam.
Dude, I hate this. Probably should have.
How to time an engine the right way. So what do you turn? You turn it so that it'll line up perfectly?
Yeah, but usually, because you have to start it back a little bit, like you'll see when I drop it in, because it turns a quarter turn.
Uh-huh.
So it's like so hard to get it lined up.
Because the oil pump is at the bottom of the distributor on that notch.
Yes. So then, when you drop it in, you're trying to get it to point perfectly number one, which you can see it was not.
So it's always got to turn a quarter turn back.
Yeah, so it's gonna start like back here, and if I did it close, oh, there we go. That never happens. So now that'll be number one. That was a fluke. That like literally never happens.
I just watched a real life YouTube video.
Yeah. Take notes, kids. Now it'll take me 3 hours to get this bolt back in here.
Yeah, that's how it always goes.
All right, this is stupid. Saving my battery power, my flashlight, you know, all that expensive recharging. To recharge the batteries is just too much. Oh, oh no, oh no.
You just lose the
I'm
bolt.
about to drop it.
It's not going to go very far. Just on top of the transmission.
Yeah.
And never to be seen again. There, now it won't fall. Ow. Burning us.
Drop one bolt. Decide to illustrate instead.
You would have to pull the transmission because it's stuck on top of it. On top of the bell housing.
No, I always leave it a little loose just because then you can still turn it a little bit.
But it'll still hold it tight.
Yeah. Even when I've got everything set.
What's up with that cable that's by your hand?
That is the kickdown cable for the transmission.
So why is it not connected? Do you
Because-
have a kickdown on this car?
I don't have it. I've never run it.
Oh, you just downshift.
I drive like a man.
You drive like a man.
Man, you
You just mean you downshift?
Yeah, they call it passing gear or whatever, right?
Yeah. You downshift when you're gonna pass or
Yeah.
give her the onions.
I think I used to have it hooked up.
That's how I was driving my green truck around because I didn't have my kickdown cable connected.
If you have like a 700 R4 or something like that, you gotta have it connected because it's like a TV cable they call it, and then it like it like actually controls the line pressure of the transmission.
Oh.
If you don't, your transmission lasts like 5 minutes.
Turbo 350 for the win.
That's right.
Time enough?
Oh, for now.
Put the cap back on?
Yeah. I bet you she runs so nice now.
Maybe it'll actually idle. You know what I'm saying?
Let's pull some Velcro.
That's how the
out.
cap goes.
That doesn't feel like it's in there.
Why is it so far like that?
What do you mean?
Like the shouldn't it be like at a 90 right here?
Why does it feel like it's not locking in there good?
One of the screws was turned inside.
Oh.
You know. There. Now try.
There. Okay.
Shouldn't this be on like this?
I'm gonna turn it.
Oh,
I'm just turning it to where's the long screwdrivers that we had?
this one?
Sure.
Don't forget to put that spark plug back in.
What?
Don't forget to put that spark plug back in.
Oh yeah.
Gotta start.
Man, this thing runs horrible.
You should have. Someone called O'Reilly's, and she was like, "I have a Pontiac G6, and I changed one of the spark plugs because it had a fault code."
Can you get this from that side?
She was like, "Yeah, when I put the spark plug back in, now it runs like really bad." And so we're like, "Did you put the spark plug in right?" She's like, "Yeah, I did exactly the same." And then they were like, "Well, did you put the coil pack in?" She's like, "What's the coil pack?" She's like, "Oh, the little wire that goes to it? No, I didn't put that on."
One more.
Oh. Can you get it?
Yeah.
It's like, man, gotta connect that wire. Or don't try anything.
Yeah. Don't touch.
Where's the power cable? See the 12-volt cable?
There's one at the front here. This one, the big one.
Where? I don't see it. Oh, it's right here. How is the tack connected? Oh, it's got separate.
Yeah, there's side by side there.
So what you got here, what you're looking at, anybody that hasn't been watching the channel, I bought this car in 2000. I wanted a Camaro for the longest time. I wanted an IROC or a second gen or something like that. Couldn't afford one. Got a tax refund and bought this thing for $900. It had a 305 high output in it at the time that came out of another IROC Camaro actually. That lasted about my drive home and then about 20 over revved burnouts. I thought that those engines could rev at 6,000 at that time because anyways, they couldn't. So I put 3 junkyard 350s in it, and they were like, every one of them was bad. I had to go to the wrecker, pull it out. It was smoking like crazy. Put another one in, put another one in, put another one in. And finally, ended up losing my space where I was living there for a garage. So I decided at the last minute I was just going to throw together a 400, and that's actually what's still in this car. It's gone through a bunch of different variations over the years or whatever, but right now it's a 400 stock bottom end, stock crank, stock rods. It has flat top pistons, 2 valve reliefs, hyper eutectic. It's got a single pattern cam, 286, I believe it is. I forget the name of. I forget the exact name of the. I shouldn't forget because I remember all that ridiculous information. But and it has trick flow twisted wedge G1 heads on it, which are really obnoxious. That's actually one of the main reasons I haven't driven this car in a long time. They've got like a 18-degree intake valve, and they're really hard to work on. And you'll kind of see that through some of this video. But yeah, so it's got 342 gears in it, still the 10 bolt. I broke it once. That was it actually. It's got a turbo 350 in it now with a 3600. I think it's a TCI converter in it. And 342 gears with a mini spool. So yeah, that's about what's kind of going on here. So when it runs and works, it's actually a pretty fun car. It's got tons of pep for the street or whatever. I went from like pretty much on this engine, it was like same bottom end with like iron heads, the worst flowing GM heads they ever had, smaller cam, whatever, and it ran like 13 flat, and then I ended up putting all this stuff on it, way bigger car, blah, blah, blah. I was with a Q-Jet yet. And so when I put this on there and put it all together there, it should have been way faster. These heads flow like 70 CFM more. And it did. So the first pass out, it actually ran, I think it ran the best 60 foot and the best 8th mile it ever had. And then it laid over, so I got out of it. And it ended up, well, the first pass actually was on a rip. That was in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan there, and it broke the torque arm. That's what happened. Then the second pass, it laid over. It was on another good pass, and it laid over. And then after that, the rocker started like backing out, and that I didn't realize what was going on at the time. But the rocker studs kept backing out because you can't get a wrench on them. If you'll see here, but you can't. There's no way to get a socket or a wrench on it, so it's just totally ridiculous to work on. So these are really old heads, like from the early 2000s, probably 2004, 2005, something like that. They're really good flowing heads, and they make a lot of power, but they're just a nightmare to like kind of work with. So anyways, the G2s were better because they didn't really have as much of that problem, but they got a really bad reputation because of that. So what we're going to do here today, we're going to go through, try to get it running. It needs brake work too. The front brakes are seized. So what happened was, guys, I sold the car. We moved to Alberta. It had a little brief stint away from me. And then when we moved to Oklahoma, I bought it back, and I brought it all the way from Canada, actually, from the guy that I sold it to. He never did anything with it, and he parked it in a field and got mice in it and this and that. So this car never had been out of a garage the whole time I owned it. So that's what the plan is for today. So we are going to try to see what we can do here. I bought some spark plug wires for it. The other ones were shorting out on it, and yeah, it's got some old gas in it and stuff. I'm sure probably needs a carb clean and things like that, but see if we can get it fired up anyways. I don't know if I can drive it because the brakes were almost nil, but maybe I could take it for a little burn anyway. So see what we can do here today. All right, so this is what I bought, just what the parts store had here. They're a 48 style stock boot style XL, the old school yellows there. Yeah, RFI suppression. They're only 8 millimeters. Whatever. It's better than spark plug wires that are shorting out. So they could have got me some other ones, but I was like, I'll just throw these on there for now. Like, I keep saying this. My plan for this car is I want to LS swap it because I want to boost it. So these are all angle plugs, and I don't know for sure if this is all going to work, but I figured worst case scenario, I could at least put a couple on there and then see. The other problem I'm having right now is the valve cover. So they're center bolt valve covers, but the bolt can't go straight down from the actual valve cover. There's like a little U-shaped thing that sits like this, and then you have to try to align it on the top of where the bolts are and stuff to get. It's just, and so the one I can't get it to tighten up for some reason there. So I'm gonna check that, see if I can maybe run a tap and die through that, see if I can get it cleaned out, and if I can, maybe I can get it tightened down better or something like that. But if not, I might just RTV them on there and whatever. I think I got the valves all adjusted now, so hopefully it's okay. Also, the battery cable was burning through, it was touching the headers. I don't know what happened. Like, this car was never really great as far as wiring went. It was kind of always a bit of a train wreck, but it's gotten way worse since the last guy had it. So I tore it apart in the last house we were living at, and we had to slap it back together really quick because I had planned on fully going through everything. I want to give the car an actual proper paint job now that I have a paint booth. I have a real paint gun. I feel like I could do actually a pretty decent job on it. This car's been painted by me a couple of times with rattle cans, and mostly rattle cans, I guess, but I think I've painted it 3 times already. So, but it never had any rust or anything before. It's starting to kind of get a little bit, so I want to get it under control before it does get too bad. And I want it to look a little bit better. So the roots of this car is I wanted it to always kind of just be a fast kind of street type race car, basically. Go to the track on the weekends with my buddy, and that's what it always was. So I think plans always can change, but I think what I just kind of want, because it's not an AC car, and it's not like, just to get it to that phase, I don't know if it would be worth the money in a car that's just basically a sport coupe. Needs a full interior now and things like that. So I'm just kind of thinking maybe just make it like a full race deal, turn it into just like a full cage, just basically a small tire deal. It'll fit 29 10.5s because I've had them on this car before. Ironically, that was when it was the fastest or the fastest pass. It should be way faster now, like way faster. Like, I'm talking, it should have picked up probably 80 horse with the mods that I added to it there. So the one thing I do regret is that it didn't go a little bigger cam at the time. What we were talking about doing was pulling this engine out of my truck, out of my car, putting it in my son's truck. He's got a 383 stroker kit, put that motor together for something else down the road, and we'll just basically trade or whatever. So, but I just told him I want to make sure it's healthy still before I give it to him, because this engine was just rebuilt before I gave it to the guy. I made 2 passes at the track and drove it 50 miles, and that was it. So just want to make sure it's healthy, because I don't know what happened. He said he was having some issues, even though he supposedly never drove it. So yeah, anyways, let's get out of here, see what we got. Dude, nothing screams old school like yellow Excel wires, man. I love these wires. This was like the big upgrade back in the day, like you thought you made 100 more horsepower if you had them. All right. Oh yes, and then a bunch of the wires started melting on the headers too. Forgot about that. That was the alternator excite wires, looks like. So, just gonna grab some tools here, some wire cutters. Oop. All right, see what we got here, guys. Definitely, this car made a lot of miles in its day. I drove it everywhere. I daily drove it for a long time there. I had it out to a bunch of different things there. Like, I used to take it out when we had cruise nights, or just go to visit buddies and stuff in the small town I was from in Saskatchewan there, and we have a bunch of people piled in it, doing things we shouldn't be doing, goofing around, doing burnouts and donuts all over town and things like that. Having fun with it. It was always just a fun car with cool memories. This car was actually my best friend's car before this, which is funny. Oof, they all got cooked. I'll just show you guys this when I pull it off of here, but yeah, it was my best friend's car, Phil. He had it before me. Well, actually, who I bought it from was another friend of ours, this Dana Holtz, his name is, and he had the car. I think he was the one that put the 305 in it, because Phil, my good friend there, he put a 350 in it. And it was a V6 car originally. Before that, another friend of ours, Troy, had it, and it was a 6-cylinder car, and I don't think he had done anything like that with it, but we still keep in touch and stuff. It's kind of funny. Everybody can't believe this car's still around or whatever, but like I said, the whole time I had it, it was always in a garage. So it's kind of just something that I'll probably never part with, even though it's nothing really special, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool car just to mess around with. So, and you'll see when we get it out with these heads and this combo and everything on it, it's got an 850 double pumper now, and stuff like that. I mean, it should have really woke it up there, and it did. Like you could tell just driving it. Like even when I fired it up, when I put it back together in Oklahoma, there I had everything dialed in perfectly. For once, I actually got the distributor exactly where I need to be, and da 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 da. And man, it was just like you just barely touched the throttle, and you just feel it just felt so healthy. It was like just snap, 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 snap. So that was fun, but I didn't really get to drive it. Don't know why I didn't drive it more before I actually completely tore it apart. It was kind of rattly, I guess, and I was worried about hurting the motor, so I thought, well, I'll just check it. But a lot of that rattliness is to do with these stupid heads. So that is what the goal today is here. See if we can get this all. I'm just gonna pull these wires off because I think it looks like these 90s will fit. Actually, to be honest here, that might actually help me in some of these. I get to the point with this car where I want to do so much more with it, but it just needs so much of everything, and I just kind of end up getting frustrated. And I'm like, and then I walk away from it. And that's why I haven't done anything with it for a while. But I get a lot of my subscribers and a lot of viewers and stuff have been asking me like, when are you gonna put that thing back together? I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll just do it. I'll just start working on it anyways. But I actually tried to buy a 6-liter for it yesterday. I really wanted to get I was thinking of getting a 6.2 or even like a 6-liter, like an LS2 to get some weight off the front. Because if I'm going to go full race with it, I want it to be as light as possible. But if anybody ever watches Richard Holder's channel there, I'd kind of asked him, I said, here's what I want to do. I'd like to get 1,000 horsepower with it. I'd like it to be like, drivable or whatever, basically. But, and he's like, the myth on the seating on the 6 liters is not really a true thing. He's like, they ran their big bang motor. They ran their big bang motor to like 1570 horsepower, and there was no ring seal or no head gasket sealing issue, I should say. So he said we've debunked that many times. So I respect his opinion, and I believe that what he says is true. So I'm not really worried about that aspect of it anymore. I don't know about. What he did say was that if you got an aluminum one, though, that tends to be a problem. He said if you do an aluminum 5.3, then those ones seem to hold it. But he said if you do like a 6.2 aluminum or something like that, that's definitely not like the best choice for doing like a boosted application. So, like I said, he's been in the game a long time and he knows. So, I'm gonna try to stick with his advice there and probably just do a 6-liter. And I'm sure it'll be totally fine. I mean, if you made 1,000 horsepower on this thing, it would just be disgusting to drive anyways, probably. But I think if I really did want to get some weight off the front, because I'm thinking if I do kind of want to get into some street kind of racing or whatever, like back of the track type stuff, whatever, that I could put a tubular K member in it. I'd almost want to do that before I do everything else. Like what I really would like to do is if I had an actual shop right now and something where I'm not going to have 5,000 pieces torn apart here, I'd like to pull everything out of it, paint underneath the hood, do all that stuff, and then put it back together. But I need space to do that, so we're working on it. It's coming along, but it's just one of those things. All right. FYI, it doesn't run very good on 6 cylinders. I guess that's why it wouldn't idle. Yeah, this is actually going to be a lot better with these angle ones. So the one thing that this, I guess I didn't mention that either, but so these are angle plug heads, which actually I think out of all the stuff that I've had have actually been the best. Yes, I have the hood that doesn't hold itself up like every other Camaro. I don't know why I haven't bought hood struts yet. I was actually planning on changing this to a fiberglass hood for some more weight off the front. But yeah, it's got angle plugs in it, and these headers are Edelbrock 1 5/8. They're shorties. I had long tubes on it at one point there. Again, and that was actually the same time where it made the most amount of power, but they were like, it was like, at that time, it was like crazy expensive to get exhaust put on it in Canada. Like I'm talking like they quoted me, I think $1,600 for a 3-inch crush bent system, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I ended up putting the factory exhaust back on it with shorty headers that I bought. This car's always been like a part spin special from everybody else's cars, which is sort of funny but kind of bad at the same time. So yeah, so they were a friend of mine, Mike's there, and he had swapped to an LS at that time, and I bought them. So yeah, guess we will see. But man, I didn't realize how bad these wires actually were. These ones are also only 8mm anyways. Man, these things are killed. I had so many plug wires burn out over the years, and I used to just carry extra ones with me at the track, and I think they just slowly got swapped in with either used ones or one new one here and one new one there kind of thing. So it probably needed that for a while. I wonder what the plugs are like. Do I need to worry about that? Man, I destroyed a bunch of these wires. Let me see. I'll show you the other ones here. These wires are bad. Oh man, just old. These, I don't even know if they're, yeah, see, I don't know if you can see there, but this one's burnt through. The number 1 wire is completely burnt right through. Touching the exhaust, we were just trying to get it fired up to test it there, and yeah, ran into that. So let's see if any of these other ones, if there's any obvious places, but yeah, I think it'll probably run better in 8 cylinders. Kind of wonder if that maybe was the problem before too. So see what we can do here. I'm gonna leave one. I think what I'm going to do is deal with that valve cover first, because then the spark plug wires won't be in the way when I do that. So, I've been asking people what they think about videos wise and what their opinion is on how long video should be and things like that. And some people say just do a full length or whatever for your entire project, and other people are like, no, you shouldn't do that, because when you do that, it's like people think that the videos are too long and they don't want to keep their attention to it. But I don't know, like I watch guys like Murder Nova's channel, for example, and I mean, he does like hour-and-a-half videos, and I watch them all, but maybe I'm just kind of unique in that I'm one of the few people that does. So I'm curious what you guys think, if you prefer like a 20 or 30-minute video and multiple videos, or if you think that having like just one full spiel like this is like a better way to do it. I'm behind on my videos here. I've been having a hard time keeping up with content. I've been having so much trouble with my truck lately, and it's been putting behind schedule on things every time I go to look at a car or whatever. Seems like I have trouble, and then I'm trying to work on my yard. I've been having a bunch of trouble around my house here and whatnot, so it's been kind of ridiculous here lately. So all right, so let's see what we can do here. I was watching Big Chief's channel the other day, and yeah, he's not wrong. He was talking about how people do what I just did here. And they start using the front of their car as a shelf. I've always done that. It's a bad habit, and he's right. But he said people like I guess not very long ago, there was what was it there? There was a guy racing, I guess, or something, and I think he left a bolt on the front, and it fell out and fell either into his lane or the other lane or something along the lines of that anyways. And yeah, so it sounded like it caused some carnage there anyway. So, but he's probably right. If that fell out and fell underneath your tire or something stupid like that, you probably wouldn't really be having a very good day. So yeah, all right, not sure what I'm gonna do. It was definitely leaking out here because it's soaked here. So I'm gonna look at that. If I can get this to actually tighten up in here, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Oh man, it has to be on the worst one too. I don't even know how to get in there to actually start getting it loosened or tightened off there. Tightened up, I should say tightened off. Oh man. All right. Don't know where this flashlight came from. I think my kids bought it from Harbor Freight for me. I used it a whole bunch last week when I was stranded with my water pump quitting. See, like it feels like it's tightened all the way down, but it's... So I'm going to show you guys this. I will show you what's going on here. Okay, so I just want you guys to see this so you can understand. So this, if you look down on like this one, for example, see how that goes down and it's straight in there? And this is, if you look at these, where all these bolts are. So like, look at where the head bolts are, for example. You guys can see in there. But, so that has to be tightened up. See, even this one's loose. So those have to be tightened up and line up to actually work properly with these heads to get the valve cover on. I just grabbed at the time, these are old valve covers. When I was throwing this thing together in Canada, it was like super hard to find parts and stuff to make all this stuff work, and I was trying to get to the track really fast, and anyways, yeah. So yeah, I was trying to get to the track, so I just bought these generic valve covers. They're just standard small block Chevy covers from like an 86 up or whatever. I threw them on there. It was just some used ones that somebody had laying around or whatever. But so I don't know if I just try to glue these. Maybe I should just try to glue them on. Put the bolts in, whatever tightens up, it's good enough maybe. That if we were going to keep this, we're not going to run it. Like even if we put it into my son's truck or whatever there, which is kind of what we're talking about doing, that we're not going to run these heads because these heads are they're just way too obnoxious to like deal with. That's weird. It's like actually like condensation in there. It's starting to almost rust a little bit. The tips of the rockers weren't like that last time. It's like there's water in it. That's weird. Well, any hoozles, I'm going to try to make this somewhat better. Thinking I just RTV this on, snug it down, and then that's probably the best it's going to get. I don't know if I could actually, if I try to loosen this out of here, I don't even know if I can get it out anymore. Even if I do, I don't know what good it's going to do me. I'll never get a tap in there. I thought I could maybe, but now that I'm looking at it, and see this, like, how are you supposed to tighten these stupid things up? Like, I'm going to put a wrench on it and see if it'll snug up a little bit, but highly doubtful. Ah, man, always something. All right, a small little wrench on the end of it here and see if I can snug it down some more. I don't want to strip out the aluminum either. The problem is, like, when I'm putting torque on it, you can see it's pushing this over because it's not meant to be like that. You literally can't even, like, and why didn't they just make the top hole bigger then? And you just put a bigger bolt in the top, then you can drop the wrench right through it, but you can't even do that because it's the same freaking size. Like, they just use no brains at all here. I remember back in the day, if you look on the boards, you can search back on and see, but I remember this, the guy's name was Art, that worked for Art or Andy or something like that worked for TrickFlow, and people were just freaking giving it to him, and it wasn't his fault. He was actually trying to help, but there was just so much bad. Like I said, the head flow and everything is good, and there's probably guys that are a lot better with it than I am. Like, maybe if you were an engine builder, you'd have little tricks and stuff that you would know, but this isn't going to work. And I'll never fit a tap in there, so That is kind of discouraging. It was pouring out oil when we did fire it up there. So. Oop, see, that's why Big Chief says don't put your tools like that. She was probably right. More than likely. Who am I kidding? He was right. See, like you can't tighten them up. It's like, I don't know what the problem is or whatever, but we're just gonna make it work. Because that's what we do here at TK's Garage. Everything halfway at least. Like, who comes up with designs like this kind of stuff? Like this, I'm not sure what happened there. It's a good thing I caught it before it actually melted the wires. But as you guys can see here, the wires were not very happy resting on the exhaust manifolds. Then we realize there's a whole bunch of, I don't know where this came from. That is definitely not my hackery. I do some hackery, but these wires were originally there. That was been there since ever I had the car. But like this goes down. There's a tube here that goes down. We're like, where did this freaking tube go to? And we started pulling on it when I was underneath it, and it's going down to the freaking transmission for the shift actuator. Like the vacuum on the shift actuator there, or whatever. What do you call it? That was the wrong name for it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So I don't know if I should just try to get it apart here. Forgot about that. Maybe I'll do that while it's right here. Yeah, let's take some of that slack out of it. This is just ridiculous, man. Like, okay, guys, like I don't even really. I guess they probably used that, but that was not there before. I don't know. That's strange. Well, anyways, it's going to be against the exhaust if I don't move it, and we're going to have a massive vacuum leak. So I'm going to take a whole bunch of this slack out of it. I'm going to pull it over here, cut back the hose some. It's funny. I should have had the car spun around the other way. It was a nice day today, so I opened up the garage door. Man, we've had in Oklahoma where we moved to here, it's been just a absolute treat here, but we've had a summer's worth of weather here already. If we lived in Saskatchewan, like where we used to live, we've had over the amount of weather that we would have had in a good summer there just in the last month. It's been pretty wild, actually. People say, why'd you want to move to the US? Well, that sure isn't a negative, that's for sure. Cut it back here a little bit. Okay. Leave a little extra. Make sure that it still reaches. I think we could actually cut some more off of it here. Want it to be like, so there's not extra. I don't really know why that's there, but I'm not messing around with it right now to make it all the right way. I just want to get it running. So do this. Man, maybe it'll actually run halfway decent with get that out of the way. With 8 spark plug wires actually sparking. I almost bought a HEI cap and coil there, but I was like, whatever, let's just make sure it runs okay first. Because as I mentioned, I literally haven't driven this car in a very long time. So, man, there's like all sorts of wires that weren't loose here before. That's the biggest downfall, I think, is just that there's no AC, which is like, if it was a factory AC car, it would be a lot easier to put AC back into it. But being that it's not, well, it is what it is, I guess. But all right, guys. All right, got the valve cover here. I just put some RTV on it. Should be okay. Hopefully that's enough, and it actually is like enough under there to actually seal when it gets tightened down. It does tighten up some. It's just not ideal, but Man, that's crazy how much tension there is on that. They got the wire from the, they must have like, because it's got some new connectors on it, so they must have like shorted it out. I don't know exactly what these people were doing with it. He said when he got it, the car was overheating, which I don't see how it could have. I mean, we drove it all over the place. We drove it from where we were living, like on the highway, on the double lane highway. We drove it to the small city that was near us there, and then I drove it around, just cruising around the back roads. And then I took it to the track, and it never overheated at all. So, not sure why that would have been happening, but unless the electric fan, that I had it wired that you had to turn the fan on by hand before, and so unless you just didn't realize that, but whatever. So, I'm going to try. Crazy how far off they are. Like I can't even see them. The two of the four line up. The other one's like not even close. I'm just gonna grab a little pick or something and try to reach in there and see if I can't get it close enough to get one of those bolts started. I just don't understand. This thing is freaking kind of starting to get annoying. It doesn't stay tight here. Don't know why. I'm like, man, it's like not even close. How would you even if you had the bolt, you couldn't get to line up if you wanted to. Same with this one. Well, I guess we're just gonna put two on there, I suppose, and try to snug it down, and hopefully with the gasket glue for now it'll work. And the engine needs to come out and get on a stand or something and see what we could do with that, but I'll put a little copper silicone on this one, I guess, just to try to stop the, oh man. Dudes, not cool, man. It's not supposed to be glue. It's supposed to be gasket maker. Try to seal the oil from at least leaking out of there while it's running. It's gonna take a bit for us to put these plug wires on anyways, so here we go. Tub of towels, man. You need to have like some sort of shop towel. Tub of towels are crazy. I'm gonna put some on here too, just because. That was another. Check back on my phone here. All right, just had my truck at the shop, local shop here. Sounds like they got it done. Man, it just started. You guys have seen the recent videos on that fiasco lately, and I just haven't had time to deal with some of the little things it needs. So I took it in. I got an oil change because it's been pouring rain here, and I don't have an actual garage that it'll fit in. So I've been doing it outside, but I was like, man, just change it. So I talked them into putting a Rotella in it. They're like, well, I guess if you have 405,000 miles on it, you haven't had any problems yet. They're like, it's not on warranty, so we don't really care. So that's what I did. And but anyways, you guys saw the trailer brake video. Well, that lasted for quite a while there, and then all of a sudden it started again. But it wasn't the check trailer brake wiring. It actually was service trailer wiring now. And so after doing a bunch of research on that, we'll see if it actually fixed it. But what it supposedly was there's a trailer brake control module underneath the spare tire. There's like a block there that you have to take off with some other wiring. And so I went to order it on Amazon, and you couldn't get it at O'Reilly's, couldn't get it on Amazon. It was like a month out. So I went down to the GM dealer. It was $166. I picked that up, and then that I got them to install it. And then while I had it in there, it needed front brakes, which is, I don't know why already. It didn't have, the first set went like crazy, like 200 and something thousand miles. But the last, you guys have seen me renting this trailer for the last while. It has surge brakes, and I think that really wore on the brakes. So it wasn't super surprising, I suppose, but I think those brakes only had like, maybe, I don't know, probably, you know what, they might have 100,000 miles actually. I don't know. I'd have to look back at my receipts, but anyways, so they put new front pads and rotors on it, and then there was a wheel seal leaking on the rear end, so they put that in there too, and a couple little things like that. So yeah, anyways, so that's ready to go. So I am going to run over there with my wife and pick that up, and I'll come get back at this. I'll give this a chance to dry anyways. All right, when picked up my truck, back to the same saga. The light for the service trailer brake wiring is not on anymore, but the check trailer wiring light is back on. So I don't know what the deal is with it. Kind of getting annoyed. Try not to get that way, but holy cow. It's like, what else could go wrong? I changed already the switch and the wiring controller. I haven't changed the plug yet, but it doesn't look bad. I could just change the plug. I never used the fifth wheel plug, so I don't think that would be problematic. It is open though. It hasn't had a cap on it since I bought the truck, so unless something's going on there. But anyways, back to our regular scheduled programming here. I should have put the battery charger on this thing so that when I do go to start it, it'll actually start. I don't even know where the battery charger is right now. I had to take one on my last trip here. My good one. Let me see. Aha. Man, my garage is too small. There's nothing worse than having a bunch of cool tools that you can't even set up because you don't have a place to set it up. So, you guys will excuse me here. Sorry, just doing a little off-camera cameo. Oh. I'm going to throw the battery charger on it. It might be fine, but probably not. Likely not. Battery actually came out of my son's truck when he changed his, thinking his battery was bad, and his starter was actually bad, so I just threw it in here. It's been laying around. Oh, look, I was smart enough to disconnect it. That's not a half bad idea, I suppose. Probably start. I guess because I was concerned about the wiring. It's the way everything's so bad on this car. Oh man, the whole car needs to be rewired. I wish I knew somebody that would do it for like some sort of sensible price, because it is just a cluster of wiring from the original V6 that was in this car. There's like so many over there, and now the last time we put it together, my son accidentally crimped down the when he tightened up the valve cover on that side. A couple of the wires were in there. I think one was a tack wire, so hopefully that still works. A couple of things like that, but all right. We will put the battery charger on it. Charge for a little while. We're doing our thing here. Put some spark plug wires on. And then we will see if this thing will run. Maybe we can actually even take it for a little burn here. Possibility. Possibly. Garage is so small. Throw on 40 amps there, let her charge. All right. I was talking about how bad these wires were earlier. I didn't even realize how bad this one had gotten cooked. Look at that. Yikers. Obviously, this had been taped once in the past. I don't know if that was by me. I don't think so, but none of these wires even match. These are Bosch Premium 8mm. Up dealer, blah blah blah. A whole bunch of them are different ones there. There's, well, maybe they are the same. Maybe I actually did put decent wires on it at one time. I don't know. They should have been 8.8s on this car probably, but it is still the stock ignition and everything. I'd be curious on some professional opinions on how much horsepower stock ignition will be fine with before you start blowing out spark. Like, I don't think on, could be wrong, but I don't think on like naturally aspirated stuff, I don't feel like you would have that same issue as like until you boost it. All right, so I'm just guessing at the length of where these all need to go here, so I should put dielectric grease on it, I guess, but I feel like I'm going to be taking these back off pretty soon. All right, let's start with number one and see how this is all going to pan out here. Number one, I am number one. 2 is not a winner and 3 nobody remembers. That's pretty long. So, too long. That's what she said. There we go. I always remember when you'd buy these like pre-made already, that eventually you end up with some that are too long. So I probably should have done this valve cover too, just gasket glue, but whatever. Okay. Number one. Come to the front of the line. 3. Probably a little bit longer. Let's see here. Everybody know the firing order? 18436572 clockwise on a Chevy. Yeah, that might work. It's probably the longest one, so that's the one I should use the longest one on. 2. I guess 2 would be fairly long as well. Let's see. Let's see. I think there's going to be a lot better clearance with these wires. I like it. I think this is going to work better. Yeah, see, even with me stretching it all the way around the back, and this is pretty well the farthest one, I should say. It's still even with that, it's still almost a little bit too. It's still almost a little bit long, but we'll make it work. So I was looking at these and I noticed they don't have any clips. Like usually they come with the clips that hold the wires together to keep them from touching certain things or whatever. So deciding if I'm going to zip tie them together or do something else with them. I need to watch back Freiberger's videos there because he has like a really good trick where he loops them into each other or whatever, and it's like something simple, but it works really good for zip tying them together. So anyways, we'll just kind of get them lined up and then we'll see from there where they need to be. I see RTV squishing out the side, so that's good. Hopefully that is good enough to actually get it to seal. I don't know why my camera just quit there. Good thing I was watching it. Just quit and started playing music out of nowhere. All right. So if this works, I'll probably buy good valve covers for it too. It doesn't matter, I guess, because like I said, these heads are probably going to get changed. Okay. Probably the second longest is going to be the next one. 3. I like them to just all run behind. I think it would be better. So 1843. I think this cap's kind of worn too. I'm pretty sure this cap's been around. I don't know if I put new plugs in it in Iowa when I put it back together. Probably didn't. Might be something that's worth attempting, but yeah. This back in the toolbox before I lose it, and I will, because I'll forget about it. I have everything labeled and I still can't find things. Pliers. All right. So those are fitting fairly good. I would like to still snug it up a little bit there, but should be all right. What else here? Trying to think of the longest ones here. Oh, who's the next one down here? Number 4. That one's pretty close. So pretty close. The shortest, closest ones first, so I know exactly which one I'm using are the shortest, so I'm not having to pull them back off again. Number 8. Like I said, I'm sure there's better solutions. I probably should have got like an 8.8 millimeter and cut them to length or whatever, but I've never had great successes with that, to be totally honest. So, and I don't really feel like a car like this needs it. It's just, I mean, it's not anything wild. Like I said, if it was a boosted application, these are the kind of reasons why I'm looking at right now is why I kind of want to also LS to get away from this distributor. That would be a whole nother benefit. I don't know anything about LS engines, but man, I've learned a lot of things in my life. Surely I could continue to learn a little bit. Or kind of want to run it now and see why there was like almost condensation inside there. Kind of thinking maybe I should drain the oil here and just make sure nothing's going on there, because I thought I had changed it in Iowa too, but it's been a while, so there's a possibility I'm just forgetting. Getting my new snazzy plug wires all dirty here. There we go. Yeah. I like it. There's going to be a couple that are way too long, though. I can see it already. 6. Well, I've got 2 longer ones here. 184. Oh, 18436. That one should be a short one again. End up with 2 really long ones here, it looks like. Just kind of what's always been the tendency of happening. I seem to recall back in the day when I was younger, I would just wrap them around the distributor to take up some of the slack. Just kind of a lame way to do it, but when you do what you got to do, man. Come on, there we go. See, this one's already touching the exhaust, so that's going to have to go somewhere else to not be touching that. Back there for now. All right, use these two extremely long wires here to finish off the last ones that are going to be extra close here probably. Move this out of my way. I seem to recall using they always come with a coil wire. And you would use the coil wire back in the day as one of the plug wires because one of the ones is really short, but these ones are a little bit deeper. Forget what we did for that. Let me try putting on a spark plug and see if it actually clamps on there. For curiosity. No, it actually does, you know. The difference is it's black, I guess. That would actually work on the other side there. Where I'm having this extra long wire. Not quite. Well, will not reach eight either. Well, it was a good effort. All right, these will just go where they go. So if you're unfamiliar and you're just watching this because you think I know what I'm doing, that's one of the very few things I actually know. Small block Chevy, goes in a circle, 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. And the cylinders is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's your firing order. So you're watching this to learn something from that, which I doubt you are because I don't teach much of anything very good. But if you are, then that is actually something I remembered from having to take the carbs and intakes and everything off a million times before. So this is 7. So actually, this is what I was talking about earlier. I'm going to go around the distributor. Take up some of the slack here. Make sure you get them plug wires on there good. Like the ones that are close, there we go. You'll hear them snap, but the ones that are close to like the dipstick and stuff like that, they're a little bit harder to get on. So let's see. So let's go across here. I said I don't really like doing this, but I also don't like having 10 feet of slack in the wires. So sometimes you do what you got to do, man. This car ain't no beauty queen anyways. I love them wires though, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty freaking cool. Classic old school Excels. And I remember, I just watched a roadkill on this, and I don't know if this was the ones, I can't remember their radio suppression cores. And I believe, if I remember correctly, those will burn up like MSD boxes. It's one way or the other. It's either the non-suppression or the suppression ones. I think it's the suppression ones. Because they kept burning up their MSD box. I think it was on roadkill, I believe. So, something to do a little research on first. I had never heard that until then. Actually, that's not true. I did hear that in the past, but I didn't know if that was actually a true thing. But as it would turn out, it is. If you're running an MSD box, it might not be the best scenario to use old school wires like this. I have had these on this car before, so I'm confident it won't be any problem. It's also stock edition. I almost so messed up there again. I was supposed to go around the distributor and I'm fighting with it. And I didn't put it around the distributor anyways. Nope. Chill out, battery charger. All right. Let's try this one last time. Kind of smells like battery acid over here. Probably gonna have to take that battery back off of there. Connection. Man, this is just perfect weather to be cruising around in this car without AC too. This is, like I said, this is like our Canadian summers right now. It's been like this for a month already. Crazy. There we go. And I kind of squished that one a little bit, but make sure I tape that one once so it doesn't get caught up in the header there. Now run this one around. I remember back in the day they used to talk that your wires weren't supposed to be touching each other either, which I don't know how you'd ever avoid that, but that was part of the reason they give you clips. That might have been something to do with the suppression wires. I don't really know, to be honest, but I have never done that. Maybe that's why my stuff has never been as fast as it probably should have been. My stuff was the fastest when it had the junkiest stuff on it. Everybody's spare parts that they upgraded to actually get good parts, and then my car always got the spare parts of everybody else. It would almost be like, it would be kind of ironic of not really in the true spirit of what this car originally was if I LS swap it, but I do love it. I don't know if anybody's ever driven third gen stuff. They suck to drive. They're rough and they ride terribly and they're noisy and just not a whole lot of good happening in them. But they're awesome. Especially if you're young and you don't care about things like ride quality and comfort. You just care about looking cool, picking up chicks. Third gen F body. That's the one. All right. Well. You think this pile's gonna start or what? Every time I fire it up, I'm scared something else catastrophic is gonna happen. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I did not fix the wiring on the main starter wire there, which I'm actually gonna take the wire back off of the battery for that because I don't want something to short out while I'm trying to tape it. I'm just gonna tape it for now. If I can find some, I'll click back on when I get to that part. All right, guys, I was gonna start it. I'm pretty confident it'll start now, but I just put that RTV on there like 2 hours ago. And I don't want to have to do it again. I'm hoping it seals up because it was pouring out of there last time and I don't want to have to pull that off and scrape it and clean it and try to figure something out. So I'm not going to start it till tomorrow, actually. What I am going to do is I'm going to take this thing off the jacks. I took it off the back already. I'm going to take the front one off here. I'm going to take the front tire off and see if there's something obvious with these brakes because there was no front brakes. I think the back were working, but the front weren't. So I don't know if it's just a bad line or something like that. So I'm going to jack this thing up and see what's happening there. I know I'm not using impact sockets, so don't criticize me. I only have one set and they stay in my truck because as you see with all the trouble I've had lately, I need them there. not gonna lie, it is kind of exciting to want to put a different engine in this thing after that long, just for something different. It's never really gotten any better. It should, but I would like to see it do some draggy passes and make its fastest pass before I pull the engine out. But you know, I really just want to drive it because it's fun. That's pretty much it. I think I need to finally rebuild the cylinder on this jack here. Place I used to work at, they were getting rid of it one time. They were going to throw it out because it was leaking. And they asked if I wanted it, so I took it. But it's always leaked, and it's kind of gotten worse. So I just kept putting oil in it because I only used it a handful of times here and there, you know. But it'll pick up a hose. But I should probably take it and get the cylinder rebuilt. I wouldn't suspect it would cost that much money to do that. I should probably put a jack underneath here. You can see it's gotten so bad now that the jack just drips. It never used to do that, but we left it underneath this car about a month ago. And then ever since then, it's been kind of being a pain. So, should go higher. That's another thing too, is my other jacks I've always had in the past, they didn't lift high enough. So then when I work on things, it's really annoying. Didn't really pay super close attention to this thing. I don't think it was near as bad before I sold it to the guy, but now there's just, the paint is just horrible anyways now because I don't know what was going on. The hood here and all of this is just covered in white stuff here, like they sprayed chemical or something and it got all over the paint. So that's kind of annoying. Now I'm starting to notice every little thing. I'm not like a super particular paint body guy per se, but now that I painted my last truck and the first time I actually had the proper equipment to do it and it actually looked good, now I'm like, man, if any car deserves to get some love, it's this one. Got to get Tony Angelo to do some sort of collaboration with me. I keep teasing him. Eventually he will. He started off like a nobody like I am too. That's how you grow. Start to make connections. He literally does everything the same as I do. It's really funny to watch actually. I'm like, oh, I would have done that too. Oof. Yikers. Holy cow, that's bad considering. Like I said, I'd never ever had this car sitting outside the whole time I owned it. I'm gonna have to show you guys this because this is ridiculous. He parked it outside his house and it was like right alongside of a kind of like a grassy field, but he actually parked it in the grass. Like, and so, well, you guys know if you've ever been around a car that's been in tall grass, it starts to rust the bottom up and stuff. Well, obviously the brakes got the first part of this. See if I can show you here. Holy smokes. Oh, looks like there's some things living in there. So, not ideal. Man, he said he didn't drive this thing. These freaking front rotors look cooked, and I know because I put a new set on, and then after I did them, I never really drove the car. I took it to the track a few times here and there, or whatever. But it might have had a couple thousand miles since then. Sure doesn't look like there's much left of it, but yet the brake pads look brand new. Unless I just turned them. I thought I put new rotors on it. Well, not ideal. Not ideal. But I was actually going to order a brake kit from Summit Racing a slotted brake kit. I want something a little better. I just don't know what I'm going to do with the rear yet. I've been trying to find a used rear. If you guys know of a decently priced 9-bolt used, something like, probably for what I'm looking for, probably like 370 gears, something like that. I would even go with probably as low as 410. I don't know if that would work as good for what I'm eventually planning. Could always change it, but if it's a 9-inch, it's not as big of a deal. But if it's a 12-bolt, that's kind of a little more complicated to change the gears. But well, I'm actually surprised. It even turns, to be totally honest. So, what's actually happening here? I mean, they're still good enough that it should work. Either that hose is finally giving up the ghost, or it just needs to be bled. I do have a power blader if I can find it. I'm going to crack it. I'm going to crack the bleeder here and see. Crack the bleeder and see if I can get some fluid out of there. It's been a long time since I've touched any brakes on anything. Also not my favorite. I used to have pretty good success with it, but in recent years, not so much. I think I'm going to grab my toolbox and I'll grab some tools and we'll get back on video here. All right, just tried a couple wrenches on this bleeder. I don't know if it's just so rusted, but I can't seem to get a wrench on it, so I'm just going to try to tap on a double-ended wrench here. I don't know. Seems like it wants to be 3/8, but I know if I pound a socket on there, I'll never get it off, so I would prefer to try to get a wrench on it first. Preferably one that has some swing to it. Does not appear that it's going to come off that easy either, so not quite sure what to do here. Metric doesn't even seem close to the right size, so I'm not sure what the deal is here. I have a feeling this video is not ending in success. I'm wondering if I just change the two hoses, both rotors, and just take it apart here, change the rotors and the calipers and everything, and be done with it. Kind of wondering if it's the calipers, it's not the actual problem anyways, because if someone was here to help me, I would get them to watch this, see if it's even remotely trying to stop it. Don't think so though. Well, yeah, it sure looks like these are pretty thin in the. They might have been turned, I don't know, but I know it did have new brakes in the front, or the brakes were done anyway, so it looks like by the thickness of them, they were probably turned and then new pads put on, which was probably makes sense because this was always a budget car. So again, that would add up to what's going on here. A lot of these bushings in the front sway bar and stuff are toast. They need to be changed. All these, like, even the tie rods and stuff look so chintzy on these cars. They're just paper thin, but I guess that's just how they were. To be continued. We have my assistant here. I'm gonna get him to check the brakes while I hit the brakes. Okay, start spinning it. Keep spinning it. Did they stop? Yeah. They did? Yeah. Huh. Turn them again. Keep going. Did they stop? Huh. Well, maybe they are working. Maybe it's just one side then. I wonder if the back brakes are dragging. Whew, it stinks in there like mice. Gross. All right, take the tire off on this side. We spun that side. Seemed like it was grabbing to some extent. So I'm going to take the tire off this one and see if it's... Man, I need to get some lug nuts. They're actually matching. This had the same lug nuts on it since I bought the car. And they are all different. I think because they got these covers on them and the covers fell off of half of them. Not sure what the idea was there. Come on. Whew, that one looks worse than the last one. Looks like there's mouse nest in there. Or spider's nest. Alright. No, not quite. Huh? There was definitely some spiders in this one though. You want to be my helper on this one? I have to like push it like by here and just spin it, and then when I hit the brakes, we see if it stops them or not. Okay?
Just push it.
Yep, just keep spinning it. Not until I tell you. All right, you can start spinning it. Okay, how about now? Keep going. How about now? No? Okay, well, they're obviously working. Not sure what was happening there. Maybe they're just a little low on fluid or something's weird. What if the back ones are acting up? Unless the proportioning valve is sticking. Okay, well, you saw that. She's turning it and I hit the brakes and it stopped, so I don't know if it's just stopping like just enough or whatever, but it's obviously working to some extent here. I realized after going through this car a little better how bad it is compared to my previous standards. That's all right though. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to probably do it for today's video here. I don't want to fire this thing up until I actually am ready to run it. Probably do that tomorrow. Maybe show you guys some clips of that. Do a couple of shorts on that and see if it starts and runs how it should, but when we started last time there, it wouldn't idle, whatever, and then it was just pouring oil. So I'm hoping those are sealed up good enough now that it's good enough to at least run it and maybe just riff it around a little bit here, take it down, get some registration on it, and maybe burn some of this old gas out of it. It had a massive transmission leak. I don't know if that was because it was over full. We haven't had it running to see if the transmission's like way over full. Like maybe they just filled it to the brim or something and it was coming with a dipstick tube. Like, I don't know. I thought this car had no dipstick tube, but there is one in it, so I don't know. Not sure exactly what's happening there, but as long as we get all that stuff resolved, we should be good to go here. Leave the battery charger on it for a little bit here, and I think tomorrow it'll be ready to fire up. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on social media, TK's Garage 405 on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.